6 Signs of a Low-Value Woman and How a High-Value Man Reacts. Stoicism. Old Stoic Wisdom. Love is not about finding the perfect person, but about seeing an imperfect person perfectly. Sam Keen. Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a critical subject every man must understand: how to spot the warning signs of a low-value woman, and why it's crucial to guard yourself against the wrong relationship. Not every woman is worthy of your time, attention, or commitment. Some will lift you up, providing peace, support, and growth, but others, they'll drain you emotionally, mentally, and even financially, leaving you questioning your worth and your place in life. The most dangerous women often hide their true nature behind a mask of charm, fun, and apparent care. But as time passes, their true colours emerge, and that's when the damage begins. A low-value woman isn't just someone who's not a good fit for you. She can completely derail your life. She brings needless drama, manipulates your emotions, and keeps you trapped in cycles of confusion and frustration. Here's the good news. When you know what to look for, you can avoid the storm before it hits. In this video, we're going to break down the 6 unmistakable signs that a woman is not the one you should be investing in. By understanding these signs, you'll approach dating with greater clarity and confidence, ensuring that you only pour your energy into relationships that encourage your personal growth and elevate your life. Stick around until the end, because recognizing these signs now could save you years of unnecessary stress and heartache. Let's dive in. Sign 1. She thrives on drama and chaos. Some women are drawn to conflict like a moth to a flame. It's not that they want peace or harmony, they need disruption to feel alive. When everything is calm, she's unsettled. And when things seem stable, she'll stir the pot, often creating problems that didn't exist. Minor disagreements, which should be resolved in moments, turn into drawn-out emotional wars. Not because the issue at hand is important, but because she thrives on the emotional roller coaster that conflict brings. The peak of an argument, the intensity of the fight, is what fuels her. Without it, she feels empty and disconnected. When she finally reconciles, she experiences a sense of relief and validation. She doesn't just tolerate drama, she actively seeks it. Early on, you'll notice the signs. She'll twist your words, making you doubt things you never even said. She'll accuse you of intentions you never had, causing you to constantly second-guess your thoughts and actions. 1 minute, she'll be affectionate, warm, and loving, and the next, she'll withdraw, leaving you confused and unsure of where you stand. When you ask what's wrong, she'll say, "If you don't know, I won't tell you," which leaves you grasping for answers. The truth is, she's not withholding affection because she's hurt. She's withholding it because she enjoys seeing you chase after her. The emotional whiplash keeps you on your toes, caught in a constant state of uncertainty. Her behaviour is no accident. It's a pattern, one that she justifies with phrases like, "I just like a little drama," "It keeps things exciting," or "Nice guys are too easy." These aren't just casual comments. They're windows into her psyche. Stability feels boring to her. She's allergic to predictability. The moment she feels secure, she starts to unravel the very thing she claims to want. If you stay, you'll find yourself second-guessing every word and every move you make, trying to balance your actions to avoid triggering her next outburst. But this balance, it doesn't exist. There is no magical equation that will keep her happy without you losing yourself in the process. A woman who thrives on chaos isn't seeking peace or connection. She's seeking a reaction. A high-value woman, on the other hand, values stability and deep emotional connection over drama. She doesn't manipulate to test your love, nor does she view stability as stagnation. Instead, she communicates clearly and honestly. Her goal isn't to make you jump through hoops to earn her affection. She shows love and expects the same in return, without games or power struggles. The best way to handle a chaotic woman is to stop engaging in the drama altogether. When you refuse to play the game, you take away her power. She'll either panic, chasing after you, or she'll pull away and blame you. Either way, you come out on top. Peace isn't something you should be fighting for. It's something you choose, and you achieve that peace by carefully choosing who you allow into your life. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Choosing a life free from unnecessary drama is not just about removing toxicity. It's about surrounding yourself with people who bring you peace, not chaos. Reflect on this and ask yourself, are you truly at peace, or are you just caught in a cycle of emotional turmoil? The answer lies in the decisions you make about who you let influence your world. If you found this valuable, comment below, and here's a powerful affirmation to keep in mind. I am a high-value man, and I choose peace over chaos. Comment that below to show your commitment to living with strength and purpose. Sign 2. She's addicted to validation. A woman who craves constant validation thrives on attention rather than genuine connection. No matter how much love, care, or devotion you shower upon her, it will never suffice. She does not seek your love, but the admiration of an ever-growing audience. Every word of praise, every affectionate gesture is devoured, only to be discarded like fuel to a fire that refuses to be extinguished. Her desire is not for fulfillment within the relationship, but rather for an external, never-ending stream of admiration, something that no one man can ever provide. In the world we live in today, social media has become her stage, her performance, her mirror. Every post, every carefully filtered photo, and every caption laced with a facade of vulnerability is carefully designed to elicit a reaction. She'll tell you she's just sharing her life, just expressing herself. But the truth is plain to see. She is looking for likes, comments, and messages that confirm her relevance, her desirability, and her captivating nature. The validation from strangers becomes her lifeblood, the fuel that feeds her sense of worth. When you voice your concerns, she may dismiss them with ease, calling you insecure, jealous, or overreacting. It's just a picture, she says with a wave of her hand, as if the intent behind her actions were invisible. I can't control how people react, she insists, even as she carefully orchestrates her world to provoke the exact response she craves. In these moments, she will insist that you should trust her, that your confidence should be enough not to care about what others think. Yet the issue isn't about insecurity. It's about respect. A woman who values a real connection with her partner doesn't need constant validation from the outside world. She doesn't treat attention as a currency to barter for affection, nor does she elevate strangers above the person she claims to love. The fundamental truth is that a relationship built on mutual respect doesn't require external validation to feel whole. Her actions speak louder than words. When a woman prioritizes the approval of others over the person she is supposed to cherish, it indicates a deeper emptiness that nothing can fill. In modern life, this obsession with external validation is dangerously pervasive. The more a person seeks validation from outside sources, the more they distance themselves from real, authentic connection. As a high-value man, your task is to recognize the difference between a woman who seeks external praise and one who values real intimacy. When you encounter a woman who thrives on validation, understand that nothing you do will ever satisfy her. She is addicted to the endless cycle of external praise, and no matter how much love or affection you give, she will always be chasing the next dose. A man who stays in this situation, hoping that one day she will change, is setting himself up for endless frustration. For a woman addicted to validation, the craving is more powerful than any real connection could ever be. The high-value man, guided by Stoic wisdom, understands this and chooses his battles wisely. He knows that true connection and respect are built on shared moments and trust, not the approval of a faceless crowd. Recognize this early and protect your peace by refusing to be part of a never-ending cycle of seeking external validation. Sign 3. She has zero accountability. A low-value woman is someone who constantly sees herself as the victim. In her eyes, nothing is ever her fault. Every failure, every mistake, every setback in her life is always someone else's doing. If she loses her job, it's her boss's fault for being unfair. If her relationships fall apart, it's because her exes were toxic and couldn't appreciate her. If she's struggling financially, it's the economy, never her spending habits. She will never own up to her mistakes, preferring instead to deflect blame onto others. When this mindset invades a relationship, the damage becomes inevitable. If she cheats, it's never because of her own choices. It's because you are emotionally distant or didn't give her the attention she needed. If she disrespects you, it's because you provoked her. Her anger is your fault. Every action, no matter how wrong, is justified in her mind. Over time, you begin to question yourself. You'll wonder if you were the one who failed, if you could have done things differently, if perhaps you are the problem. This is exactly what a low-value woman wants. She will turn you into her emotional scapegoat, making you carry her guilt, her stress, and all her unresolved issues while she plays the victim. She doesn't seek solutions. She seeks someone to blame. This kind of woman will drain you emotionally and mentally. No matter how much you try to help, reason with her, or guide her towards self-awareness, it will be useless. She doesn't want to change. She doesn't even want to see her role in the chaos. She just wants someone else to carry the weight of her mistakes. A high-value woman, on the other hand, understands the importance of taking accountability. She owns her mistakes, learns from them, and uses them to grow. She's self-aware and doesn't play the victim. She rises above her challenges by confronting her role in them. If you're with a woman who refuses to take responsibility for anything, don't expect her to change. Someone who won't acknowledge their own faults will never grow. She will continue to repeat the same destructive patterns, and the longer you stay, the more her problems will become yours. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." A high-value man knows this. He doesn't waste his time trying to fix someone who won't see the need for fixing. The only real solution is to walk away before you lose yourself in the process. Understand this. Your time and energy are precious. They should never be wasted on someone who refuses to take accountability for their actions. If you find yourself questioning your worth or your decisions because of someone else's refusal to acknowledge their mistakes, it's time to take a step back. Be the man who can see through the excuses and choose a path of clarity. Walk away from the chaos and into the light of self-respect. A high-value man doesn't stay in a relationship where he is constantly blamed for things beyond his control. He knows his worth, he understands that life is about taking responsibility, and he refuses to be pulled down by someone who is unwilling to take the same path. If you want to truly lead your life, if you want to grow and flourish, then choose to surround yourself with those who reflect those values. Don't waste your time with anyone who's content playing the victim. You are meant for more. Your potential is limitless, and you don't need to carry the weight of someone else's excuses. Recognize this and step into your power. Like Marcus Aurelius said, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. The key to moving forward in life is to never accept being treated as less than you are, take charge, and never allow yourself to be the emotional scapegoat. I take full responsibility for my actions and never settle for being blamed for someone else's mistakes. Sign 4. She uses emotional manipulation to control you. A woman who resorts to emotional manipulation as a means of control doesn't need to raise her voice, argue loudly, or issue direct commands. Instead, she works behind the scenes, subtly molding your thoughts and actions using tactics like guilt, silence, and passive aggression. Initially, these behaviors might seem trivial, almost harmless and easy to dismiss. It might start with a brief sulk when you make plans without her, a casual remark like, "It's fine, do whatever you want," even though she doesn't mean it. Or perhaps a little silent treatment over something minor, leaving you in the dark, trying to figure out what went wrong. At first, you might shrug it off as insignificant, not realizing the impact it will have on your independence. But the more you adapt your behavior to maintain peace, the stronger her control over you becomes. Gradually, you begin to prioritize her feelings over your own needs. You start second-guessing your decisions, wondering how she will react, or avoiding certain topics because you know they'll trigger her passive-aggressive responses. You stop making plans without consulting her, not because she directly forbade you, but because you've learned that the price of her disapproval is too high. What began as seemingly harmless moments turns into a slow erosion of your freedom, and by the time you realize what's happening, you might already be too deep into the cycle to see it clearly. The danger of emotional manipulation lies in its deceptive nature. At first, it doesn't feel like manipulation. It feels like a compromise. You tell yourself you're just being thoughtful, just trying to make the relationship work. However, true compromise involves both people adjusting for one another, not one person constantly altering their behavior to avoid conflict. Over time, in a relationship where emotional manipulation runs rampant, one person's needs always take precedence, while the other submits out of fear of upsetting the delicate balance. Slowly, the weight of this imbalance grows heavier as she makes your independent choices seem like betrayals. If you set a boundary, she makes you feel selfish. If you assert your own needs, she implies, subtly but powerfully, that you are neglecting hers. Each time you give in, you reinforce her control, and you begin to walk on eggshells, monitoring your actions to avoid her disapproval. The result? You lose touch with the person you used to be, and the man you once were slowly fades away. However, a high-value woman doesn't need to manipulate through silence or guilt. She communicates her feelings directly and honestly, even when she's upset. She doesn't punish you for making your own choices or make you feel guilty for having a life outside of her. The difference between a low-value and a high-value woman lies in how they approach conflict. A high-value woman values respect and clear communication. She doesn't want control over you. She wants a partnership based on mutual understanding and trust. So what's the solution? The answer is not to argue or try to win her over. It's to stop playing the game altogether. When you sense emotional manipulation, address it calmly and directly. If something's bothering you, I'm open to talk, but I won't play guessing games. And then, most importantly, continue to live your life on your own terms. When she realizes that her tactics no longer affect you, she has two options. She can either adjust her approach and start engaging in healthy communication, or move on to someone who's more susceptible to her games. Either way, you win. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. In this case, your revenge is not to get back at her, but to remain true to yourself, unaffected by manipulation, and continue living your life with integrity. Don't let anyone control you through guilt or passive-aggressive behavior. You're in charge of your own peace. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Have you ever experienced emotional manipulation in a relationship? And how did you handle it? Sign 5. She has no long-term vision. A woman who lacks long-term vision is easy to spot if you pay close attention. Her life is driven by impulse, constantly seeking short-term pleasure and avoiding responsibility. She may tell you that she wants stability and security, but her actions speak louder than her words. She lives in the moment, making decisions based on immediate desires rather than considering the consequences of those choices for her future. Whether it's reckless spending, chasing fleeting excitement, or jumping from one distraction to another, she shows no regard for long-term planning. For her, the future is something to be figured out later, not something to be intentionally built in the present. You'll notice her lifestyle often reflects a lack of discipline or direction. She may never budget her money, but continuously shops, justifying her reckless spending with excuses like, "I deserve it," or "I'll figure it out later." This impulsivity shows itself in many areas of her life. Her job history is filled with short-lived roles, abandoned the moment they cease to excite her. She talks about big dreams and desires, but takes no concrete steps to achieve them. When setbacks or challenges arise, she never takes accountability. Instead, she shifts the blame, blaming circumstances, bad luck, or other people for her failures. She prefers external solutions over internal growth. If she faces financial struggles, she looks to you to rescue her, rather than changing her habits or facing the consequences of her actions. When challenges appear, She expects you to bear the responsibility of solving them. She floats from one situation to the next, never truly learning from past mistakes, because in her mind, the problem is always something or someone outside herself. In modern life, this tendency can be dangerous, especially when building a future together. A woman like this cannot lead herself, and as a result, she cannot help build a meaningful, sustainable relationship. At first, her carefree attitude may appear fun and refreshing. She might seem spontaneous, full of energy and stress-free, but this illusion quickly fades as time passes. The burden of carrying the relationship will inevitably fall on you. You will be the one planning for the future, making the necessary sacrifices and holding everything together while she continues to drift through life without any clear direction. When you try to discuss practical matters such as financial planning or career goals, she dismisses them as boring or unnecessary. She views responsibility as pressure, preferring to stay in the present, free from the weight of long-term obligations. She expects you to manage every challenge that arises, to be the one to fix things when they go wrong, and to clean up the mess when she falters. This creates an imbalance where you bear the entire weight of the relationship, while she remains disconnected from the responsibility of building a future together. On the other hand, a high-value woman understands the importance of planning for the future. She is not looking for a man to merely support her. She seeks a partner with whom she can build something meaningful. She respects discipline, sets goals, and aligns herself with someone who shares her vision. She recognizes that life requires consistent effort, and she is willing to contribute her share. She does not rely on luck or external circumstances to guide her. Instead, she takes full responsibility for her growth, whether it's in her career, finances, or personal development. A high-value woman does not shy away from hard work. She doesn't just dream, she takes action to make those dreams a reality. If a woman does not respect commitment in her own life, whether in her career, finances, or personal growth, she will not be able to honor commitment in a relationship. A relationship requires effort from both partners, and if one person isn't willing to put in the work, it creates a disconnect that will lead to failure. No matter how strong the initial attraction or how intense the feelings are in the beginning, a relationship without a shared long-term vision will not withstand the inevitable challenges life brings. Love alone is not enough to sustain a partnership. The real test of a relationship is how well two people can navigate difficulties together, and that requires shared values, vision, and responsibility. If a woman lacks direction and refuses to take responsibility for her life, she will only bring chaos into yours. For a man who values his future and seeks to build something lasting, it is crucial to choose a partner who values her own future just as much. Without that mutual respect for personal responsibility and long-term vision, the relationship will eventually collapse under the weight of unmet expectations and unfulfilled commitments. If you made it this far, you're already ahead of most. Many men get stuck in the cycle, waiting, hoping, and suffering, but you've taken the first step toward breaking free. Now make this commitment to yourself. I am building my future with purpose and discipline. Comment that below to affirm your dedication to long-term growth and the journey ahead. Like, share, and subscribe for more insights on relationships, self-improvement, and living with strength and vision. Let's continue this journey together. Sign 6. She doesn't respect masculinity. A woman who does not respect masculinity does not view it as a source of strength, leadership, or stability. Instead, she sees it as a challenge, something to push against, rather than align with. Every decision you make is scrutinized. Every attempt at leadership is met with resistance. Every effort to provide structure is labeled as controlling. She argues not to understand, but to win. Her words aren't meant to foster connection, they are meant to assert dominance. She wants to prove that she doesn't need a man to guide or support her. "I don't need a man to do anything for me" becomes her constant mantra. She prides herself on her independence, but rather than seeing it as a virtue, she wields it like a weapon to strike down any form of masculinity. When you attempt to lead, she calls it controlling. When you set boundaries, she labels it toxic. The reality is, her mindset is not one of partnership. It is a mindset of resistance shaped by past traumas, societal conditioning, or experiences that have taught her to view masculinity as oppressive rather than complementary. This dynamic doesn't just frustrate you, it exhausts you. A relationship is supposed to be a place of trust, support, and mutual respect, not a constant battlefield for superiority. But with a woman who sees masculinity as competition, every conversation becomes debate, every decision a test, and every disagreement a fight for control. The more you try to establish healthy leadership, the more she resists, pushing back simply to prove that she is just as strong, capable, and dominant. Over time, this dynamic takes its toll. A man who stays in such a relationship finds himself constantly walking on eggshells, afraid that any attempt to assert himself will lead to another argument. He hesitates before making decisions, second-guesses his instincts, and suppresses his natural inclination to lead. What began as a desire to maintain peace turns into self-deprivation. Slowly, he becomes a passive version of himself, stripped of the qualities that once made him attractive. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This rings true when it comes to your masculinity. A man who values his masculinity will never diminish it to please someone else. When a relationship devalues a man's nature, it slowly suffocates him. He may no longer feel like himself, may no longer feel strong, confident, or capable. A man in this situation faces two paths. He can either allow himself to be worn down, conforming to an environment where his masculinity is seen as a flaw, or he can recognize that a genuine relationship is not a battlefield. A real partnership isn't about power struggles. It's about complementing each other, balancing each other's strengths and weaknesses. A man should never feel guilty for embodying his natural strength, setting boundaries, being decisive, or leading with confidence. The most dangerous aspect of a relationship with a woman who sees masculinity as competition is that, over time, it erodes the very foundation of attraction. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once stated, "A man is what he thinks about all day long." If you shrink yourself, make yourself smaller to accommodate her resistance, she will no longer see you as the strong, capable man she once was attracted to. She may say she wants equality, but deep down she does not desire a man who is easily swayed, passive, or constantly apologetic for his nature. If a woman continuously pushes against your masculinity, it's because she doesn't want a weak man who apologizes for his strength. She wants a man who is unwavering in his identity, a man who can hold his ground, even when challenged. A relationship is not a battleground where two people fight for dominance. It is a partnership where both individuals pull in the same direction, complementing rather than opposing each other. Masculinity doesn't need to apologize for existing, and a man should never feel guilty for embodying his natural strength. When a relationship turns into a power struggle, it ceases to be a relationship and becomes an exhausting contest, one with no winner, only resentment. The solution isn't to fight harder to prove yourself. The solution is to recognize when a relationship no longer serves you. A man who values himself will not beg for respect. He walks away from anything that undermines it. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." A high-value man knows his worth, and when he is in a relationship where his masculinity is disrespected, he will not hesitate to walk away. He recognizes that his peace, his self-respect, and his emotional well-being are non-negotiable. A man who values himself does not tolerate chaos, manipulation, or disrespect. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the people you allow into it. If you allow someone to undermine your masculinity, you allow them to undermine your very essence. Choosing the wrong partner will drain your energy, weaken your confidence, and steer you away from your purpose. A high-value man recognizes the warning signs early, sets firm boundaries, and refuses to entertain relationships that compromise his peace and self-respect. If a woman thrives on drama, seeks constant validation, refuses accountability, manipulates your emotions, lacks direction, or competes with your masculinity, she is not a partner, she is a distraction. A fulfilling relationship is built on mutual respect, shared values, and emotional security, not power struggles and mind games. The key to a fulfilling life is not to change, fix, or prove your worth to anyone. Your only responsibility is to protect your energy. Walk away from what drains you and walk toward what builds you up. A high-value man knows this. Thanks for watching, everyone. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever encountered these traits in a relationship? What lessons did you learn from dealing with them? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's learn from each other's experiences. Remember, a high-value man doesn't let emotional manipulation, chaos, or drama control his life. He stays true to himself, makes decisions based on wisdom, and values stability over conflict. So, choose your relationships wisely and prioritize your peace. It's all about being strong, grounded, and intentional in how you live your life. If you found this video valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more insights on relationships, self-improvement, and living with strength and purpose. Stay strong, stay grounded, and choose wisely. See you in the next one.